And you know, Ann is not young.
Okay, now we're recording.
Okay.
I called off the other one.
Oh, sure it is. Sure you did.
Call the emergency meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The only one who's recording is us.
Correct.
Item on the agenda is declaration of emergency.
I prepared a draft there. That's kind of a standard
Mhm.
for declarations of emergency.
And the purpose would be declaring this.
To make the town eligible for federal or state funding or reimbursement of expenses, which I think is very likely. And following this declaration, I will ask all departments to start tracking expenses related to the virus.
Are you proposing that we already took action to close the town hall to the public? Are you proposing that we also ask the town hall employees not to report to work?
Yes, I would hope that we would, given the experience we've had in the last 2 days, with the possibility that there has been some exposure here, indirectly by a few town employees who have in their homes someone who might have been exposed. A little more certain this morning, by the way.
So we're concerned about the vector, not
Yes.
so much a.
Correct.
Okay.
And I think I would recommend that you establish as the default that everyone work from home, and we will continue to allow certain department heads on a very limited basis to come to town hall and conduct essential business like doing payroll. Also, unless there's change, getting the tax bills prepared, which both of those activities are examples of what must be done in this building.
Mhm.
And if there were people that needed to access the building, they would get that approval through you.
Yes, yes.
And then the other thing in this, it says a local civil defense organization.
That's boilerplate for the way we do this. That's
But they have no other responsibilities.
no, that's right.
There's only been 2 declarations of emergency in my time. We did one with the flooding in '05, and we did one with the loss of power of the hurricane tornado event. And both times we did it so we could apply for reimbursement from the federal acts. My next question would be the cleaning service will still come in and do their work?
Yes.
Okay.
And Pam has had a discussion with them. They are going to be ramping up the service to do additional sanitizing.
Okay. Are we applying this to the senior center as well? We already closed it to the public. However, can they do their essential things? They talked about the tax preparation, things like that. Can they do that from home?
If they can, do it from home. If they can't, I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if they can work from home. But I'll have a discussion with the director and just pass along to them the default. If you decide to do this, the default is work from home. If it's essential that you come to the building, obviously allow that to happen. So,
I think the tax preparation was suspended from outside of them. So I
Right.
think that they
What hasn't
have to
happened
do it
though
now.
is that the filing period has not been extended, which
Right.
surprises me. The payment period is, but you still have to file in time, which actually doesn't help at all. You know, you're still stuck
You
with
gotta file.
it's still got to be done. Right. The fortunate thing is that they only have 5 employees. So for them to achieve separation or even come into it, okay, you come at this time, I'll come at that time, should be pretty easy for them to manage for essential things. And the rest they can probably do on a home or remote basis.
I don't know if you've seen the email that I sent out this morning. There's legislation that the governor submitted to the general court to do a number of things. Number one, allow 1/12 budgets in case this continues and we can't have town meeting.
Mhm.
Number two, there'll be a new rule for town meeting, which you may be aware of. The moderator can suspend for 30 days. The Board of Selectmen can choose a date beyond the 30-day deadline.
Mhm.
I learned yesterday that, for example, that Wilbraham is moving theirs until late June.
Mhm.
So you have that authority to do that. I don't know what's happening with elections, but my guess is that there's also going to be some authority to change the date of the town election or suspend the town election until later in the year. And then also, there may be state and federal reimbursements for salary and wage expenses as well coming. So a lot of details are coming quickly, but I think it's likely that we're going to see this virus threat extending into May, and you may have to change the dates for the town meeting and the town election.
The superintendent of the region is asked that question. And we would like a call after our meeting.
Okay. Yes.
I told you would call, so.
This is not in law yet. The
Right.
the governor sent to the legislature yesterday.
Mhm.
And so I think they're likely to enact it, but they may make some changes.
Well, the 112 budget thing has always
It's
been there
always been
before.
there.
That's
Right,
always
in
been
the past.
Yes.
Moving the town meeting has always been something that's helped the school committee in the past because you've always been waiting for the state number. And if you get, assuming they get their act together, if you will,
Right.
you know, it might help us from that standpoint. When it's done by July 1st. The other part about the election, that's going to be, I mean, it's in the bylaw now, and you're going to hear from the Town Clerks Association on that, I would imagine.
Right.
They'll be dealing with Galvin's office, I imagine. I did have a conversation with Sue Bennell about that. And her point is, her feeling is just like you all, the later town meeting date only helps us get our preparation together, assuming the state still is working. If it just pushes it off, but they pushed off their legislative work, it really didn't help anything at all. The key thing is gonna be, are we sure our ambulance thing is still solid? I know that Jeff and the fire chief have worked out a system to respond and a protocol, in fact. And we wanna make sure that AMR, which is still under
Mhm.
contract to us, is following that as well.
Right.
That's critical.
And if you have any comments on this other sheet before we post it today, let me know. Additions or changes. That's intended to tell the residents exactly what impacts there will be on municipal services.
One thing that could be done, and we weren't able to get it into the, because of the short printing date for the scribe. Mary Ellen had a thought about getting something out to the public from our office. And I think that if we draft something up, we can easily put it in the mail and have it distributed for a pretty minimal cost. Do we still have our bulk mail permit?
I don't
We have
think
to
that's
check.
been renewed.
Yeah.
We can,
Whatever we have to do, I think we should consider doing it. Mary Ellen, you've done a great job with these flyers, stuff like that. If you want to draft something up that this board
Well,
can put out. I think
that's for a potential reimbursable expense too.
exactly right.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will work with you and
Okay.
we will try to get something together and then get it to you guys to see
Right,
that
please.
we like it.
Yeah, and if I can help with the
Before we do
printing of it,
put
I can do
together,
that as well. Right. Keep the color down.
People really need to do color.
You need a formal motion to declare the chair. I'd like to make a motion to declare a state of emergency as drafted by the town administrator for the town of Hamden.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Also, could we advise our town employees that they'll be continued to be paid?
Yes.
And the other question I asked, would that include if there is an illness or something that they wouldn't have to use their sick time?
That question is also,
That's minimum,
Right.
yeah.
exactly.
But they at least should know, and then that will
Mhm.
give them some comfort.
We're still going to have our follow-up emergency management meeting on the 26th next week.
Mhm.
Or do you want to move that up? Way it's going. I have no problem
No.
moving it up. If we just, it doesn't have to be a 2-hour meeting, just a good recap from our whichever. And the Zoom is always a good fallback.
Okay. Why don't we just leave it at the 26th and then we move it if we think it makes sense?
Sure.
Depends on events between
I
now
would
and.
think that's true, because you want to have
A week
something to
from now.
share, and you
Yeah.
want to, new information is always
Mhm.
good,
Mhm.
and not leave the meeting and then have everything new happen.
And clearly, we don't have to make any, you don't have to make any decisions regarding town meeting and town election
No.
for about a month at
No.
least.
Mhm.
Right, exactly.
Mhm. All right, are we still meeting next Monday?
Meeting next Monday.
I don't know.
It's-
Would you
it's
look
fine
over,
by
look
me.
over, look over what we have and let's see how
So,
critical it is, you know? I mean, obviously we have to come in and sign the warrant, but there's nothing, I don't know how much new information we're gonna have on what we're dealing with by Monday.
No.
Right.
So, that may be what I'd suggest. we
We'll
have.
decide later today. Any further business? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Bob. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bob.
Be safe.
Bob, here's Al Gannon's cell phone. Apparently,
I have, oh, I have